Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back in the case of those who have attended Hypnotherapy Uncensored spotlights in the past. We have taken a bit of a hiatus over the last few months because I've just been super busy with all sorts of other projects. But I was inspired to bring this interview format back as a result of meeting our next guest. But before I introduce him, I just want you to know that I'm really, really glad that you're here. I think I'm going to start doing these regularly again, but it might be just like once every couple of months. But I'll make sure that you get the notifications. But for those of you that are newer to this space, I started Hypnotherapy Uncensored back in 2020 because I kept getting censored. And those of you who know me understand well. Christine's like, I remember that. You've known me for a while. I kept getting censored, and eventually I got completely kicked out of the online forum that I was in for one particular hypnosis training academy. And my crime was daring to ask questions, daring to make sincere suggestions, and doing so as diplomatically as I possibly could, at least at first. Anyway, so the powers that be in that particular group did not appreciate this. And at the time, I couldn't find a single like online space where hypnotherapists, hypnotists, NLP practitioners, change workers of all backgrounds and levels of expertise could come together and openly share with each other and learn from each other and have real conversations about this work without all of the ego-based posturing and censorship. So I created that space, the one that I wished that I had had. And I'm going to pop the link over into the chat. For those of you who found me and this call some other way, and you're not actually in Hypnotherapy Uncensored, I'm going to pop this into the chat. That way you can go ahead and join. It's just a little Facebook group. Not that I'm crazy about Facebook, but it is a great space for convenience sake, right? Anyway, but that way you can just know what's coming up and the future spotlights. But anyway, so since then, I've had the privilege of interviewing many of the biggest names in the hypnosis industry. I'm going to start name dropping just a little bit here so you know what you can find when you join. So Jason Linett, Scott Sandlin, Stephanie Conkle, Sean Carson, Jess Marion, Richard Nongard, Claudia Ricard, Laura Cox, Lori Hammond, Kaz Riley, Karen Hand Harper, Victoria Gallagher, and just many more. Bob Burns, so many more. And I'm going to also pop that link into the chat because that's a YouTube channel now that has all of them. Like we're talking over 50 hours of free content, training, marketing tips, and just so much more. Please like and subscribe, and that way you can get notified when this one, today's, is uploaded and available for you, but also whenever future spotlights are available. So now you'll have two links over in the chat. And this is all free, right? And uncensored. All right. So what I found from doing all of these interviews, though, is that brilliance doesn't always correlate to visibility, which is exactly why I was inspired to host today's spotlight. Because some of the most impactful people in this field are the ones that are quietly doing just absolutely incredible work, but they're doing it behind the scenes. And we will all benefit from knowing who they are. So we're about to take this guy from behind the scenes and put him right in the spotlight because he's a perfect example of this. So Roy Werner is a hypnotherapist, NLP master practitioner, transformational guide with over a decade of experience helping people create real lasting change. He has a background in film directing, which seems like it brings a really deep understanding of story and narrative perception into the way he works with people, just helping people shift their internal narratives, you know. But what really stood out for me is this, the inspiration behind what he's creating right now with this conference he's doing called Hypnotic Horizons is so aligned with why I first started Hypnotherapy Uncensored that I was like, oh, yeah, I've got to interview this guy. It was an immediate yes. I wanted to bring him into this space. And he's also someone who consistently creates opportunities for others to grow and in free spaces, for practicing for hypnotist change workers. There's clean language skills, building skills, all sorts of things. I'm going to let him tell you about all of that. But I just absolutely deeply love and respect everything that he is bringing to the world of hypnosis. And so, Roy, I'm really excited to have you here. Welcome. Let's give it up for Roy. Yay. All right. So I'd love to start here. And it's going to be pretty casual. I haven't told him what the questions are. There's nothing that's going to be completely, well, maybe one that'll be a little bit like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. But I'm just going to start off easy. I would like to know, because everybody always starts with this, and I think we learn a lot. Like, what first drew you into this work? Like, what happened that you went, oh, hypnosis? Yes, that's the thing that I want to study and do with my life.
Okay. First of all, hello everyone. Mm, Thank you, Krisa, for inviting me for this. I'm excited and honored, and it's also honored to be in following footsteps of giants. Um, so anyway, for me, like many people that I have met recently, it also started. First, I came across hypnosis as a subject. So I think around somewhere around my 30s, I was going through depression. Oh, very original. And I looked for ways to help the depression. One of them was going to a CBT sessions. It was a package of 10 sessions, and one of those sessions was hypnosis. And I remember that to this day, I still have glimpses of what happened a bit or something that happened in that session where I was meeting my inner child and other parts or whatever we can call them. And it was such a strange thing for me at the time. And I remember going home and being like, whoa, what's that? I didn't know anything about hypnosis at the moment, at that time. I have to say, I am originally from Israel. And in Israel, I think Israel is the only country in the world where they have the hypnosis law that only medical doctors are allowed to practice or study hypnosis. So there are no hypnosis shows. It's not part of the culture. And I had no exposure to that, never seen a show or met hypnotist or anything like that.
I
So I was
knew
very,
that, but I hadn't considered how that would affect you growing up. Like you didn't have any of that, whereas I think most of us had at least like little bits of hypnosis shows or entertainment or things like that.
Nothing. I
Wow.
probably have seen that in movies, and it was like, yeah, right,
Scooby
like
Doo.
look into my eyes, and exactly, and things
Yeah.
like that. Or the Jungle Book, the snake with the eyes. But it was like fiction, I mean, science fiction or whatever. So I came home, and I remember reading about it. There was already internet then, so I was able to read a little bit, but of course, it wasn't anything tangible in my life. And I had a career as a film director at the time, so there was no thought even about doing anything like that. Jumping forward in 2010, went, I was involved in a accident, like a big accident, and I spent 3 months in a hospital. And that was the first time that I heard doctors telling me that I have to heal myself. There's nothing that they can do, and I have to heal myself. I didn't understand what they're talking about. What does it mean? You're the doctors. You're supposed to heal me. I didn't understand anything. And then slowly I started getting into learning about different modalities of self-help or how can I help myself? I'll keep the story short. Anyway, hypnosis wasn't one of them, but there were different other things, esoteric things, if anybody heard the name. So I studied theta healing, I studied Enneagram, I studied bioergonomy, and all of these things felt, on one hand, they felt very natural to me, yet there was nothing I could prove. And I'm extremely analytical. So in the past, I believed in science. Now, I wouldn't say that I believe in science. I respect science, yet I believe that there's so much more than what science knows currently.
I think any true
But
scientist would actually say the same. Science
yes,
doesn't believe in science. It's not a
exactly.
faith-based, paradigm.
Exactly.
Right.
So for me, the experience was like all these things, I cannot explain them, but I also cannot prove them. And there's no substantial evidence for anything that's actually happening here. Even if I download information for a person, they sit there and like, I didn't feel anything. I'm like, well, the information was downloaded and now it will help you. And I couldn't really do that. Then I moved to Berlin and I met two hypnotherapists. And the moment I met them, I was like, oh, wow. All of a sudden, I remember there's something like that. And I was very, very curious. And one of them asked me if I want to join him for a weekend in London called Secrets of Hypnosis with Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna. And he got a discount. So I'm like, yes, of course, I'll come with you. And I think it took about first they did the introduction and they spoke and blah 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 blah, and then they asked us to do an exercise which was just to sit in front of each other and guide breathing until the other person closes eyes. And when that happened, I just like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. For some reason I fell in love with this thing instantly, but it was so much more than falling in love. It was just arriving to a place that I felt that's my home. This is what I was meant to do. I don't know if you guys believe in this kind of thing, but for me it was like I found my calling. I found the thing that fills me up, and I immediately registered to studies. And I studied, and it wasn't easy. The first year was filled with fears and doubts and thinking I'm not good enough. And who do I think I am? And am I kidding myself? I can never really be a therapist. I have so many issues myself. How can I actually help others? And with the years, I've learned that this is normal and this is natural and this is human. And if you wouldn't have your own personal issues, how can you actually help someone? You have to know what it means to have them, to go through them, to keep some of them as well, to understand that this is exactly what the person you're working with is going through. So that's how I came across hypnosis.
Yeah, it's kind of like trying to describe uh light to somebody who's never experienced darkness. Like you can't, you have to
Yeah.
be able to hold both. What a beautiful origin story. I love that. Um, I definitely want to talk a little bit more about this amazing thing that you're building with Hypnotic Horizon. Um, but before we jump into that, can
Okay.
you just share a little bit about what inspired you to create it? Like you kind of mentioned at one point to me that you just had this like maybe it was a download. I don't know, but you suddenly had this thing like I have to build this thing. So
Yeah.
so can you kind of walk us through what that was? And I'll make
Yes.
sure I pop the link so that you guys can all join Hypnotic Horizon. And guess what? It's also free. Who does it? I mean, a free online conference with how many different presenters? Anyway, I'll let you
24.
kind of, yeah, look at that. And not they're back to back instead of like stacked on top of
Yeah.
each other. So you don't have to pick and choose. Anyway, so take it away, Roy, because I really want to hear more
Okay.
about like this download, so to speak.
So I have seen different. I live in Thailand and I don't travel much. And I've seen for years, I've seen all those advertisements for all these kind of hypnotic conferences and meetings. And of course, I would love to be in one of them. And maybe one day I will. I don't know. Yet, being here in Thailand, seeing that, feeling a little bit jealous. I'm also a member of the Mike Mundell Hypnosis Academy, and there they have sometimes in-person meetings in Toronto and things like that. And I felt jealous. That's the best word I can use for this. And then I was looking for an online. I was like, maybe there's an online conference. And I found, I think, one back at the time. It was about 6, 7, 8 months ago. And first of all, it was expensive. And it was the same names, more or less, that I see everywhere. And I also had the thought, if I would ever want to present in a conference, nobody will take me. Like I'm no one. No one will ever give me a I don't know people in this thing. And I think a few days afterwards, all of a sudden, I just woke up really with this idea of like, why don't I do something? You know what? I'm actually now I remember another thing that it's like I think it was over time that I met many people in the MMHA that have fantastic stories and fantastic knowledge. And one of the things that I really, really was trying, I think that was part of what happened at the time. I was actually in conversations trying to get MMHA to spotlight students or members of the community because they did have some people that they do bring from once in a while. They bring people from the outside. And I was like, you have so many amazing people here. Why don't you give them state?
Wait,
Like
so that was
take
you that suggested that? Because I was one of those guest hosts in MMHA that was brought
well,
from the inside because I was in
no,
MMHA and
because
then
right now they don't bring anyone from the inside. I don't know when you were brought, and it's like for me it
it's like
was
2022, I think.
no. So for me it was a conversation sometime last year.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, if that was
And
you, thank you.
no, it wasn't me. No,
Okay.
it wasn't. I just I I suggested that to them, and first it was like, yeah, great idea. Yeah, we really want to do that, but nothing happened with that. And I think everything got combined, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just do something, and I will give stage to the people that want to have a stage. And I sat with myself and I asked myself, okay, do I want to do this? What does that entail? I had no clue, so I couldn't answer. Then I asked myself, is there a reason why not to do that? And I didn't find an answer for that. So I decided let's start to do it. And I do have to drop two names that are actually here. Three, Hubert, Daniela, who are supporting me, and Darren, who is emotionally supporting me as well.
It
And
takes a village. And it sounds like you
yes,
found your village, your community to help with all of this. So that's
I
thank you, Hubert
absolutely,
and Daniela and Darren. Thank you.
absolutely thank you from the bottom of my heart because, to be honest, I know I could have done it without you guys, but I didn't want to. And it would have been so much harder. And the fact that I have people that support me and they gave me faith and they gave me wind in my sails and they gave me a much better reason to continue to do this. So here we are, two and a
So
half
when was
weeks.
that? What was yeah, it's coming up. So when did
Um,
like how long ago did you get this inspiration to when now it's
I
actually becoming reality?
I think about 5 months ago, more or less.
Wow, you accelerated this. That's pretty fast. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well, I remember it was around December because I told Hubert that I'm going to join Hypnoticon to see how they do it, so I can learn from
Mhm,
that.
mhm, mhm. I was a
And
presenter in there. Yep.
I know
Yeah, yeah.
I saw your presentation. Uh, and so, yeah, around 5 months, more or less.
Wow, so fast. That's beautiful. I love that you just like jumped on it and you were like, yep, this is the thing I'm going to do. Also, the fact that you're in Thailand means that I think it means that you're going to be awake for 2 whole nights in order to do
I
this,
hope
just
so.
so that it's
I'll,
convenient for those of us in the time zones that would be attending. Like, that's
I,
hardcore. That
I
is
will
some
do my
hardcore
best.
generosity.
I thought about that, that I might be tranced in and out in some sessions. I hope I won't fall asleep. I might, I don't know, but
Well,
thank
you
God I
have a
have.
community of helpers to make sure that things still
Exactly.
run smoothly, even if you do nod off. But
Yes.
yeah, maybe switch your schedule around a few days beforehand so that it's not quite so, yeah. And future pace yourself. You have those tools, yes. Um, and so I also know that you host free practice spaces for
Right.
other practitioners. Again, like very early or late your time, just so that it's more convenient for the people in the time zones that would be attending, which, like, I don't know. I don't know if I would be willing to do that on a regular basis. So hats off to you, sir. But tell us a little bit about that. And then how can people find these practice spaces?
The practice space is at the Hypnotic, currently it's at the Hypnotic Horizon Facebook group.
Okay. And I'll see if I can
And
find the link to that real quick. Just so, is it okay? Is that an open to the public
yeah,
group?
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
absolutely.
I'll
Absolutely.
put that link over in the
Or you
chat.
just put Hypnotic Horizon in Facebook and you'll find the group. And
Okay.
right now, I think I have 3 times a week different times. So people from Europe and people from the States can find it and join. I have on Sundays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We have clean language practice, which has been going on, I think, more than a year now.
Can you
And
tell
this
us
is
a
where,
little bit about what that means for those who aren't familiar with clean language
well, I
practice?
can tell you that my presentation in the Hypnotic Horizon will be on clean language.
Oh,
So
so this will give us a
maybe,
reason to tune in.
yeah,
Yes.
so maybe that is a better place. In
Perfect.
general, clean language is an amazing small modality that can really, really level up the skills of asking questions and gathering information and working with clients and also working with persons because clear language is a modality you can use everywhere, not just in hypnosis, coaching, education, business, relationship. It's just a really nice way of learning several things, how to ask questions that can actually give you good information. And it teaches you very good, I think, how to listen
Mm-hmm.
and how to keep
Yeah.
your mouth closed more, listen
Right.
more instead of one of the things that we do as human beings, and I definitely used to do much more of it as a therapist as well, is to immediately offer solutions, immediately want to help, immediately want to fix, and immediately to assume that I understand the other side. And clean language really taught me in a very structured, simple way how wrong I am and how I can be better at that. So
And how much
I
more
really like it.
powerful it is when the client figures it out for themselves using their own language and their own narrative and their
Right.
own lens instead of just having a therapist say, here's what I see, and then label that, I think there's even a danger in clients can get a little defensive about, like, hey, you're not listening. I don't feel like you're hearing or seeing what's really happening. And so then they dig in deeper to the problem because
Yes,
the therapist isn't really respecting where the lens that they're coming from. So
absolutely.
clean
It's
language
also a
is beautiful
fantastic
for,
way. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So it's also a very good tool to build rapport because the
Mm-hmm.
chances of you actually saying something that the client or the other person doesn't agree with are Very minimal because you're repeating the words.
Right, right. And letting them figure it out. It's very client led.
Very,
it's extremely
very.
client led.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also, for those who still deal with the thought that you have, I mean, of course, we have a certain kind of responsibility as therapists, but the responsibility is not about to find the solution or the fix or the cure for the subject. It's a
Mm-hmm.
different kind of responsibility. And clean language absolutely centers on that we don't know as therapists, we don't know, and we go on exploration together with the
Right.
subject because often they also don't know, but the only difference is that they don't know that they do know deep inside what they already know that they don't know that they know already, right?
That was a beautiful confusion induction right there.
Yes. It's absolutely true.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know till you know it.
Yeah.
And then you realize how much more you don't know that you don't know. Yeah.
And in between, you also know what you already know, that you do know something.
You do know something. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm kind of new to clean language as a model. But what I find really fascinating is that I was already kind of using it without knowing it. Um, so in Quantum Journeys Hypnosis and Quantum Journeys Hypnosis Academy, where I'm training others to use this particular protocol that was downloaded to me by higher consciousness, I will say, multidimensional consciousness, and also my own little homegrown brilliance. I will take some credit. But I was already, I make everybody sign a little thing at the beginning saying, I will not impose my religious or spiritual beliefs upon my clients, no matter what their experience is. It's their experience, it's for them. It's not for me to interpret. It's not for me to label. It's not for me to impose any of my own stuff on. And they have to agree to that before they're allowed to go any further. And so I realized that's kind of in the same flavor of not imposing your own um, verbiage and understanding and narrative the same way that clean language does. So I was so tickled to find that. I was like, oh, there's like a whole modality that does this as 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 the as the framework, as the scaffolding for it. And so now I'm super excited to learn more about it. I feel like in my soul I was already like going that way. I just didn't know that there was a thing that existed. So,
I think many of us do very similar things naturally.
mhm.
Yet, what I found in clean language is that the moment it was presented as a structured modality, all of a sudden it just helped with the little things. Just as an example, so let's say that the person says, like, I'm feeling very scared. And we say, oh, so there is fear. Now, in clean language, that will not be a clean thing, even though we think, well, of course, if they feel scared, that means there is fear, but they didn't bring the word fear. So I will not use the word fear. I will only use so you feel scared because
Mm,
that's what they said.
right.
And this is just a small example how naturally we understand that we should keep to the words, and many people talk about that, but we tend to paraphrase and immediately inject
Yeah.
something from ourselves into this. So
Yeah.
clear language just
And it's hard not to. It's
exactly.
really hard not to. Yeah, especially, when somebody tends to be naturally empathic or, compassionate and they want the other person to know like, "Hey, I understand where you're coming from." And so they share something. But by doing that, even just by doing that, they're sharing their lens and their narrative, even though it's for wonderful reasons, the
Absolutely.
best of
Yeah.
intentions, but still
Yes.
you're
And
accidentally injecting something that may not be that client's truth. So it's a difficult thing, yeah. Um, all right. So now we're going to come upon some of the tougher questions, or just one,
okay.
really. Well, two. Let's do two. One, let's crack open, Roy, a little bit and find out, how has hypnosis helped you personally? What has it changed in your life?
For me, I think that the thing that helped mainly was actually the studying of hypnosis, because what I took from that is the profound understanding about the importance of language
Mm-hmm.
and self-talk. Because I definitely used to talk to myself horribly,
Like
calling
when you
names,
lay traps.
criticizing myself. Through the studies of hypnosis and NLP, I realized the effect that it has
Mm-hmm.
on me and on others.
Yeah, because you're listening.
Yeah,
You're
of course.
listening when you're saying those
Of,
things.
of
You
course.
know, it's abusive,
Huh? And I've
self-abusive, but
been
abusive. Yeah.
so yes, I was very abusive to myself, and that changed.
Same.
I definitely think that it relaxed me much, much more. Self-hypnosis is something that I do practice almost every night before I go to sleep. I love it. And I used to be, it's like not an aggressive person in any way. Like I'm a very introverted person and fairly, most of my life, people call me the gentle giant, but there was a lot of aggression inside. And
It was being
through,
turned inwards, it sounds like, maybe.
yes, as
Yeah.
well, or it would just like, I mean, my self-image was or is of a red dragon, a
Mm.
cute one, but I can breathe fire. I can absolutely breathe fire if someone gets me to that point, which is very rare, but I didn't know how to control it. And I think hypnosis helped me
Mm.
with that. It just allowed me to learn how to relax and to find relaxation and to appreciate relaxation. So I love being in trance. I
Do you
absolutely
have a
love it.
hypnotherapist of your own?
No, I have a fantastic group
Mm-hmm.
of people that help me, and from time to time, they grace me with sessions.
Oh,
Once again,
nice.
thank you,
Good.
everyone.
That's so
Yeah, we
important.
do. Absolutely.
I think it's
And
so important to be able to receive, not just
yes,
offer. I would say on some levels, it's the most important aspect of being able to offer and give is to be able to also receive, because otherwise you impose this unnatural hierarchy where you're the one who doesn't need help, but you're helping others. And I don't, and it's unnatural. We all need help. So I'm so glad to hear that you are quite comfortable with that, with receiving
yes,
and
absolutely.
asking for it.
I think it also taught me to receive compliments as well.
Yep. Same. And, I
Still
also have,
hard.
I've learned that if you can't receive a compliment, then how are you going to receive all of the abundance that the universe is trying to bring to your doorstep?
Yes,
So that's a pretty good indication that you're not in a receptive space if you're turning away just the kindest, gentlest words. Then you're going to also be turning away all of that other wonderful stuff that's trying to grace your life. So,
I th
everybody, this is a great opportunity to just the next time somebody says something kind to you, say thank you. Just say thank. Don't
exactly.
deflect it. Just receive.
I think that when we don't accept it, we're also robbing the others from their joy of giving. And just as you said, many people find it very difficult to receive, but they like to give. So when a person gives you a compliment, don't rob them from their joy of giving. Let them give you.
As a
Say
former
thank you.
chef, I can absolutely attest to the fact that if I offer to cook for somebody or I offer them food that I've made and they say no, they go on my shit list. I never offer anything
Remember
again.
that, everyone. Okay.
So if I'm pouring all of this love into my food and I offer it to somebody and they won't even taste one bite, then I'm like, this person deserve to be in my life or my sphere. They're going to have to go work on that and then they can
Okay.
come back. Yeah. It's like one of the few things that I'm super, super like strict about. But yeah, I can offer you all sorts of other things if you say no thanks. I'm like, that's fine. But if I offer you food that I have like poured my heart and soul into and you say, nah, I'm not even going to try a bite, then so yeah, that's that whole like loving to give. And if somebody rejects it, it feels quite personal on that level for me, just with food.
All right.
um,
Okay. Next question.
the next
Hit me.
question is, yeah, I actually love to ask this of everybody that I've ever done a spotlight with, and that is, what is the most unexpected, bizarre situation you've ever encountered in a hypnosis session or as a result of hypnosis session?
All right. I have two really sweet stories.
Beautiful.
One, I was on vacation and I was in a hot spring, and all of a sudden, three gentlemen came in and they spoke Hebrew as well. And I usually avoid getting into conversation with Israelis, yet we were the only ones there, and somehow we started speaking. And then they heard that I'm a hypnotherapist, and and two of them immediately were like, "You have to help him." I'm like, or A, I'm on vacation. B, if he wants help, he has to ask for it. I cannot help anyone if he doesn't want to. What are you talking about? And he's so scared of flying. And we've been traveling with him for years, and it's horrible to travel with him. They're best friends, all of them from young age, and they suffer from him because it's always such a drama and everything about and as they talk about the third guy, I see that he starts to feel very uncomfortable. And I look at him and ask him, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh, would you like us to step aside and work on how you feel right now?" And he said, "I would love that. Yes." So we went out from the hot spring, sat somewhere, and I asked him, "How does he feel?" And he just said that he feels like he has a lump in his throat. And all we did was, okay, have you ever done hypnosis? Never done hypnosis, never done meditation, nothing like that. It's like, we're not doing anything. Don't worry, we're not working on your fear of flight or anything like that. Just want to, if you are willing, I just want to help you feel relaxed now. Would you want that? And it's like, very much. All right, close your eyes, blah, 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 blah. Then imagine this lump and imagine that it dissolves and goes away. And he was a very good hypnotic subject. The whole sitting aside took us 15 minutes. I never mentioned the word flight. I never mentioned the word fear. I didn't, nothing of that. We only spoke about this lump. And he dissolved it, and he came back, and he felt so much better. And I'm like, wow, thank you. I feel so much better, so much better, so much better. It's like, I can't wait to go on the next flight. Oh, I think I told him that like he can always come back to this state. If he feels anxious again, he can just close his eyes, breathe, and bring himself to that. It's like, really? I can? And then it's like, yeah, just here you go. Close your eyes, take 3 breaths. Imagine you're going to the same place. How does it feel? Wow, 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 wow. And then he said, I cannot wait to do it on the next flight.
What a
Two
gift.
weeks late, 2 weeks later, I got message from one of the other two friends who took my number. He's like, this is unbelievable. He already booked the next flight. He can't wait for that. The flight back was amazing. How did you do that?
That is fantastic.
I didn't do it. He did it. I don't even know what he did, but it was fantastic,
But you facilitated the conversation that needed to occur within him. So
apparently.
take credit for
Yeah.
that. But yes, the clients I feel are always the healers, right? But they can't do it alone. They need
I,
somebody to come in there and kind of
I,
help facilitate.
I think that the credit that I allow myself to take is that I provide a space.
Yes.
right? So that is,
And the
yes, that is what I
collaboration,
do.
like holding
Yeah.
their hand as they go through the process, like,
And
hey, I'm
being
here,
there
let's
for
do it.
that, that's what I mean by
Yeah.
making a space where they can actually do whatever they need to do. A
Hmm.
space that is non-judgmental, place where they are allowed to feel whatever they want and know that whatever they feel is okay. And they're not doing anything wrong. Everything that happens has a reason which is rooted somewhere in the system's wish to protect them
Mhm.
as a living thing.
Beautiful. Thank you. What was the second one? You said you had two.
Yeah, the second one was with a girl who came to a self-hypnosis workshop that I used to run. And she, after we finished, we were six people. And then I said, does anyone has questions? It's like, can I use that to eat cilantro? Mm, no, she asked, can hypnosis help with eating cilantro? And I'm like, I probably yes. I don't know. Are you allergic to cilantro? And she's like, no, but I really, really don't like the taste of it. It tastes like soap. And I know that they say that people either like or dislike cilantro, and some people say that it's something to do with, I don't know,
There's a there's a gene
gene
actually that's
or
involved.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So I don't know. I have no clue. I said, if you want, we can do now something and see how it works for you. I sent someone to bring cilantro from the shop down, put her into trance, and I this is when I work. I really, really, I wouldn't say that I trust myself. I trust just whatever happens. I have no clue because I don't have a protocol for cilantro, right? And I just put her into trance and started to ask questions. It didn't lead anywhere. And then all of a sudden I had this question, it's like, do you know someone else that doesn't like cilantro? And it took her a moment, and eventually someone came up, and then I asked, like, is that someone that you know for a long time? Yes. And I didn't ask who this person is. I just asked if that's an important person for her and if it was from her childhood. And she said yes and yes. And then I said, well, is it possible that you chose not to like cilantro so this person will like you? Or something like that. I don't remember exactly the actual words, but that was what happened there. And it was a yes. And like, do you still need it? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to change it? Because she really wanted to eat cilantro. She was traveling in the East and she felt that she's missing on a lot of food because they put cilantro in everything. She was off to Vietnam after Thailand. And it was so important to her that she put it on her New Year resolution to learn to
Wow.
eat cilantro. So she was in a threshold. And just by asking her, is it still something you want to hold on to or do you want to release it? And she released it. The whole thing took about 5 minutes. And then she opened her eyes and I gave her a stem, like a stem with leaves of cilantro. And I showed her you take a leaf and you eat it. It's delicious. And she takes one and she's like, wow, it's not bad. Then she eats all the leaves and like, can I eat the stem? And we all cracked up.
That's beautiful.
And that was like, wow, that's amazing. It's
I
just
love it.
amazing when it
And that
happens.
speaks to this is something that I share with my students too. I think a lot of hypnosis, at least when we're dealing with the subconscious, um, is like we're handing them permission slips
Yes.
and they're ready. They're like, but they just need one other sense of validation or something to be like, yes, it's okay. I can do this now, you know? And so we're handing them that permission, like, yes, you can.
I just want to add one more thing about this. So these are really short stories of completely unexpected
Yeah.
sessions.
That's why
On
you're
the other
here.
hand,
Bring it
yeah,
on.
on the other hand, they were, I'm not going, there were sessions that were processed, yet they were unbelievable from a person that had like full allergy, couldn't shave, always for 30 years or something like that. And in 3 months, it was all gone once he realized that it has to be with his sexuality. a woman that had, she was at the end of her life with cancer, and she had 18 centers. I'm sorry, I don't know the words, but she had like in different
Like
places in
different
eight.
tumors that were
y-
different
y-
places of her
I,
body.
I I don't know the name in English, but yeah, it was in different 18 different locations.
Okay.
And when we met, she was only wearing black and she was swearing constantly. And she had so much rage against the world, always feeling misunderstood and more or less angry at everyone. And after already a month, she started wearing white and speak different and left the place where she was living, took a place by herself, da, da, da. And after a year, there was nothing. And the doctor was like, "How can that be?" And it was, I don't know how can it be. I don't know. And I have another good friend who recently was supposed to have a surgery in his knee because it's like he's 65 and the knee between the joints, there's the thing, I don't know what it is, and it's like it was all out. And in my studies, I remember that there was one video by Stephen Brooks. I studied with Stephen Brooks, and that he helped someone to create white blood cells.
Hmm.
And I took inspiration from that. And for 2 months, we met once a week and we spoke about, like, with control panel and suggestions. Can the body, both of us don't know anything about biology. We don't know the names of stuff. We don't know anything, but can the body reproduce or fix or do whatever it needs to do to make that place good? And after 2 months, he went for the surgery, and they're like, "Why do you need surgery? My knee, your knee's fine. We don't understand why. What are you doing here?" These stories, like if someone would tell me
Yeah.
them, I'd be like, "That's like, it's not true." But it's
The
like,
body is an incredible, miraculous, self-healing machine if we can
absolutely,
get the heck out of the way of it, you know?
yes.
Um, I have stories in my own life like that, but also clients, but like, just to share
You
with
have a
you, I
whole
had a
book.
lifelong well, yeah, that's true. I do. I'm not gonna, this is your interview, but I just wanted to share with you to validate that, yeah, the body is a self-healing machine. I know we're not supposed to use the word cure, but since I'm talking about myself, I'm going to use it. I cured a lifelong factor 7 bleeding disorder at the age of 49. Um, I'd had it my whole life, and the possibility of me getting, cut or wounded and not surviving was pretty high. And that is no longer the case. So, and with self hypnosis, I in this case, what I did was I made a recording for myself and listened to it every night, just so that I could go as deep as I needed to instead of having to be the facilitator and the recipient. I just put it all in a recording and just listen to it so I could just check out. Um, but yeah, we what this just being able to step into the role of having some amount of control over what's happening with our physical body, our emotional body, our own energy frequencies and all of that is incredible. That's what drew me to hypnosis was the physical healing capacities. And I went off the deep end of the woo several years later, but that's just because it kept happening. And I was like, all right, fine. I gotta look at this. But those are beautiful stories. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that you didn't actually know the medical science behind it. You didn't necessarily have the verbiage, and because it's not necessary. What's necessary is knowing what the client calls it, how the client perceives it. You don't have to have a protocol for this or that or the other. All you have to do is have rapport with the client and listen, like you were saying. Yeah. So thank you so much, Roy. All right. Um, what's one piece of advice that you would like to offer to all of your colleagues? And if you don't like the word advice, you could say suggestion or invitation to consider, because you don't strike me as the sort of person who's going to beat people over the head with advice, right? But
Okay.
I am actively soliciting Your advice? So lay it on us. What is it?
Okay, practice. There was, or maybe still is, on Netflix, there is a really nice documentary series about Michael Jordan. I am not a basketball fan, and unfortunately, the only game I saw Michael Jordan play was the last one. And then I felt like, oh my God, I missed so much seeing him playing basketball. So I watched that series, not knowing much about him. The thing that stayed with me the most from there was that he said that the better he got, the more he practiced.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. It's important to keep practicing, even when you work with people. Because for me, practicing with other people is a humongous source of inspiration. And I don't care if they are just sometimes the beginners will have the best questions or the
Hmm.
best ideas because they don't know yet and they just do whatever they think. And sometimes it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not indoctrinated with all of the
Exactly. And
academia yet. So they just are like, they're fresh. Yeah.
right.
Yep. Yep. I love
And
that.
so I think that practice, it's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to share thoughts, doubts. And this is why my dream is to have a community, you know. So for me, Hypnotic Horizon is not just a conference. And maybe if I'd known you before I did that, I would have said, "Hey, let's do it under your umbrella." And maybe one day we'll combine the umbrellas.
I'm
I don't
seeing
know.
collaborations all over the place.
Yeah.
So there's something
So
coming for
yeah,
sure. I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but there's a
me
few
neither.
people that joined us late. So let's quickly recap Hypnotic
Okay.
Horizons conference. Tell us when, what, etc.
Okay.
I popped the link back in the chat again because
Again.
people who join late, they don't get to see the previous part of the chat.
Okay.
So
So Hypnotic Horizon happens on April 25 and 26. It's each day we have 12 hours back to back of presenters, and we have really, really interesting presenters with really interesting topics that some I've never heard about before. Just to drop one example, can you hypnotize an AI?
mm. Is that Darren?
People, yeah. And people that talk about working with animals, people that talk about working with the Akashic records, quantum journeys, how to get testimonials that actually work.
You have a keynote speaker too, yes?
I have a keynote speaker,
And
yes.
who is
Well,
that?
he's a keynote conversation. It's
Ah,
James Strape,
beautiful.
and it's going to be a conversation with James about exactly the values that Hypnotic Horizon hope to follow, which
Hmm.
is an open mind and an open heart, to bring very much like your vision, Krisa, to not to censor and not to banish or ban ideas. For me, people are like, yes, scripts, no scripts. If you like scripts, work with scripts. They can be amazing. There are absolutely amazing scripts there. And if it worked for you, do that. If you don't like scripts, don't use scripts. It's all good. It doesn't
I
matter.
love that you just said that because I'm so tired of the super strict, opinionated, you have to do it my way or it's wrong. Like, no, you know what? There's no one size fits all. Find
No,
what works for
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is also that what works for you will not necessarily work for the client, and that's also okay. You know,
Yes.
it's not like one therapist fits all.
Right.
If there is no click, don't force it. And it's not your fault, and you don't. I mean, for me, the only thing that you can do wrong is to think that it's all about you. That's for me the wrong attitude. when you work with a person, because at the end of the day, we are here to support others and to give service and really to allow people to find their way of helping themselves. Because whatever happens inside a human being, no matter what you are, who you are, everything happens inside of you. It's always how we react to things. Like even in the worst scenario, I'm sorry, I'm going maybe a bit too far, but that's not censored. So even when a gun is pointed to my
We
head,
don't censor here.
I know. So even when a gun is pointed to my head, I have a choice. Do I agree to follow, or I might lose my life, but it's still my choice.
We always have a choice. Yeah.
So we always have a choice, and it's always how we react to things. And I believe that what we do as hypnotherapists or coaches or whatever, we are here to suggest, to inspire, to maybe click something in a person's mind that they haven't thought about or they forgot that they know, whatever it is, they will do the work, not us. They do the work. Um,
And
and
we had somebody who joined just a little bit ago, Amy, who was having trouble registering. So hopefully she got that figured out. But Amy, um, I will save your name, or if you can reach out to me directly on Facebook, I'm pretty visible there. You should be able to find me pretty easily. Then I can make sure you get that information. But also, if you go into Facebook and look for Hypnotic Horizon, then you'll find everything Roy's doing, I think, right? You'll find,
you'll find what's happening in Hypnotic Horizon.
but
So
also the practice rooms. Didn't you say that you can find
the
information about the
practice
practice
rooms
rooms?
you can find on the Facebook, on the Hypnotic Horizon Facebook
Okay,
group.
right, right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
She was
yeah.
having trouble finding the or getting to the
Okay.
website from the link. So that's why I was saying if you go through Facebook,
Okay.
maybe that would help.
All right.
Um, okay. And then just tell us real quick, because I know we only have a couple minutes left. Because some people joined late. What are those practice rooms? Just a recap. Like, so what can they expect
Okay.
and what times too?
So I honestly don't
Sorry.
remember the time.
Well, I know
uh,
one of them is 9 a.m. on Sundays Eastern time.
yes, so
I
9,
think that's the
9 a.m.
clean
Eastern time,
language, right?
that's clean language.
Okay.
And that I remember because it's been going on for a long time.
Okay.
And we have something called Trans Junkies, which is basically just group inductions. So right now there are 3 times, and those time I admit they will shift because right now it's the beginning and we're building this. And my dream is that other people will also want to facilitate sessions, and anything that you want is welcome.
Beautiful.
It's like I have no interest in building my own led community. I
Well, we
love
had talked
building
about
things.
doing that for
Yeah,
Quantum Journeys hypnosis students and
yeah,
graduates,
yeah.
having a space
Right.
through
So this
your
is also
practice rooms.
something
Yeah.
like I have a mega project, which is a web app that basically makes finding practice partners much easier and simpler. And
And we're going to have
it's,
another spotlight interview when that's
yeah,
actually
maybe that would
available.
be
And we'll get some beta
fantastic.
testers and
Oh,
yeah.
that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. So that will come after the Hypnotic Horizon conference.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, the first stage is we have the Facebook group, and we have there mainly right now, so 3 times a week, we have group inductions. We just meet and we do group inductions, a few rounds. I also have, it was supposed to be now, so this week it doesn't happen. I think I'm going to do it on Friday. It's just Hypnotic Lounge, which is just a place to meet and talk, meet others, talk about anything that you want. And really, my dream is just to see a community growing and giving space for people to find space,
What
to
was that
find
one called
others.
again? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep up with it so I can type it into
Uh,
the chat. The Friday
It's
one?
the Friday one is a hypnotic lounge.
Okay.
I need to recreate the event. I had to delete it, and I'm also learning about Facebook. I'm so not an
That's where I
avid
can help you.
Facebook user.
So, yeah.
So yeah,
I have a love-hate
so
relationship with it. Don't tell Meta about the hate,
I
but
won't tell Meta. I promise. It's okay.
um
They already know. They know everything about
I
us.
know. I know. So frustrating. No, seriously, actually, I just had a thought the other day of something that I wanted to add to my garden. And like apparently they read
So
my mind because bam, it came up on my feed. And I was like, I didn't even say that out loud. I didn't research it. It was a thought. And I was several feet away from my phone. What the hell? Anyway, okay, so Friday is called Hypnotic Lounge, and they can find out more information about that where?
on the Facebook group,
Okay.
everything I do, I put in the Facebook group, so it's easy.
Okay, I'm going to start sending out invitations to that Facebook group from my followers because more people need
Okay.
to know that that exists. It is such an incredible resource. You are doing things that I
Thank
am
you.
unwilling to do, and you're doing them for free. So until you burn out on that particular blueprint, we're going to just go ahead and send people your way.
Yeah,
All
please do
right.
that. For me, I think that as long as people join, it will give me energy to continue. I
Yeah,
admit,
it's a reciprocal thing. Totally.
yeah,
Yep. You're putting this thing out there, and as long as they're benefiting from it, that gives back. I
yes,
totally understand that. Yeah, I love
yeah,
that. Yeah, I love the reciprocity of training and practice sessions and things like that. It's just such a beautiful, almost sacred kind of,
yes,
like you can't give a breath without taking one. You can't take a breath without giving one. I love that. Giving back to the community. And you're doing a whole lot of that. And the fact that you're doing it all free is just amazing. Just hats off to you, Roy. Mad respect. Thank you. Does anybody, I know we're already at the top of the hour, but let's take some quick questions from anybody who would like to ask anything about anything that we've talked about or how to find what Roy's up to or questions about anything he's shared.
Meanwhile, I'll just say thank you to Adele, who wrote a very nice words, and Mark, you will, pending approval for me, you will be approved, I promise.
Oh, you and Mark are going to get along so great. You guys will love each other. Yeah,
Is
I
it
know
Yeah,
you
is it
both. You have
no,
similar energies.
is it because we've got the
Um,
same hairstyle?
oh, that's it. That's it right there. Yeah.
Hey, hi Mark. I just moved Chris out from the big picture, so now I see also who's here. So hi everyone that I didn't see before.
Oh, and also speaking of big picture, so now that we're starting to bring you from the background into the foreground, I'm going to just be the first one to say, I think you seem quite comfortable in the spotlight. I hope to see a lot more of you there.
Well, I think you make it so comfortable to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, and I'll let everybody know when this is available on our YouTube channel. Oh, speaking of which, this is the question you're going to get over and over and over again, Roy. We have to address it before we go. Is there going to be a replay of Hypnotic Horizon?
Okay, so the answer is yes. How exactly? We're still
So it might not be right
finalizing the
away.
details. Yeah, I
That's
mean
okay.
it will be right away. It will be there will be definitely a period where it will be free, and after that it might be for a symbolic price, and it might
Yeah,
not. We're still
soon.
figuring it out
Yep.
because turns out that I do have to pay for things, but
Right. And
we'll see.
time and labor and knowledge. And
Time and labor
yeah,
I'm willing to give. Like, since I have to pay for services, it would be maybe nice to cover them, and
yeah.
maybe not. I don't
So
know.
for the
We'll
people
see.
who are registered, it will be available as a replay for at least some
Yeah.
period. And but we don't know exactly how soon, and that's fine. I'm still waiting on my presentations from the last two conferences that I presented at that still haven't been rendered into videos yet.
Not with
So
us. No, no, no. With us, it's like it will be the next day.
well, that's amazing given that you have 24 presenters. But
Yeah, well, the system is already up and running, waiting for those videos. So,
yeah, and that's another one of like I just discovered this. Roy happens to be a bit of a genius when it comes to the keyboard, so he can do things that Like
I
we were
like
having a conversation and I was just like, I just have this idea of this. And he's like, oh yeah, we could totally do that. And I'm like, what? Anyway, so yeah.
I like I'm it's like anything that needs programming, people and computers, I'm good with.
That's beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. If there's no other questions, I'll let everybody go. Oh, Christine, did you have a question or were you saying bye? You were saying bye. Okay. All right.
So
Bye.
bye bye to everyone. Thank you
Thanks,
so
everyone.
much.
Take care. Bye bye.
And thank you for all the nice words by everyone.
Hmm.